Hi, I'm Kat and I make minimal jewellery that's inspired by our lives and all the people and events that make it so special and so unique to us. Today I will be showing you a tutorial on how to make this lovely delicate little bracelet. It's really easy to customise using birthstones to celebrate special events or people, and you can customise it however you like, but it's a simple design that's just really effective. I hope you enjoy. So for this project you will need your chosen stone for the main part of the bracelet. I will be using these beautiful Turundu garnets. The colours are incredible and the sparkle is pretty amazing as well, so they're going to work really nicely. You'll also need various findings, and these will all be listed in the notes below, but basically it's a head pin, an extension chain, a couple of contrast beads or focal beads, wire protectors, a clasp, crimps, and a few different types of jump rings. You will also need your flex wire, some kind of beading mat, something to measure the length of the bracelet with, so either a small ruler or a tape measure, and then just a few pliers. So round nose pliers, straight nose pliers, bent nose pliers, and some wire cutters. So first you want to lay out your beads and obviously make sure you've got the correct length for the bracelet. I'm just popping in the accent beads where I know I want them. There's lots of different types of bead mats available. This one's lovely because it's sticky. I've also used ones with a groove in the past, which obviously allow for much more length, but whatever works for you and your space really. And then we start threading them on. So cut your flex wire a few inches longer than you actually need, and then we start threading things on. So first is the crimp tube, that goes on first. Then your wire protector, so in from one end, over the top, and back down the other end. Then the clasp, so that gets held inside the wire protector, and then poke the loose end, your loose end of flex wire, back through the crimp, so the crimp now has got the wire doubled up. Push your crimp tube as close up to the edges of the wire protector as you can. Take your straight nose pliers and carefully squeeze the crimp closed. Be careful not to also squeeze your wire protectors closed, you don't want to do that. Just the crimp. And then it should look like that. Now before you get carried away threading all your beads onto the wire, you need to make sure that the first few that you thread on have a hole big enough to take both pieces of wire. So get those threaded on first, so you've just got a few, and then you can snip that loose end of wire short, and then carry on threading the rest of your beads. So once you've threaded all the beads on, remember the last few must have a hole big enough to accommodate 2 strands of the flex wire. So then we're just going to thread on your crimp tube, then the wire protector, through one end, over the top, and back down the other side as before. My next jump ring that I will be attaching is an open jump ring, so I don't need to attach that now, but of course if you were going to be using a closed jump ring, then make sure you thread that on now. Otherwise, next thing we do is thread your loose end back through crimp tube and those last 3 beads on your strand there. Now the next bit's a bit fiddly, but basically you just need to pull your flex wire tight. Make sure you've got a little bit of give in there. You don't want the beads pulled so tight in the wire it can make the bracelet a bit stiff and not flex and move very naturally. So just allow a couple of mil of give, and then when you're happy, use your straight nose pliers to close that crimp and then your wire cutters to cut that loose end of flex wire as close to the bead as you can. Yep. Make sure that little tail's tucked in, not sticking out. And that's it. All we need to do is add the extended chain. So then we're going to take your small open jump ring, open that up and thread on that final wire protector and your main kind of connector for the clasp, or receiver for the clasp. Close that jump ring back up. There we go. And then we can add the extension chain. So I'm using an oval jump ring for this one, an open one. So again, I can open that, thread on that last jump ring, the end of the extending chain, close that up. I like to decorate the end of my extension chains, and I think they hang nicer if there's a bit of weight on the end. So I've selected one of the beads from the bracelet. It's one of the lovely red colours. Threaded it onto a head pin. So we're just going to wire wrap it. So use your round nose pliers, grip it towards next to the bead, bend the wire over at a right angle, just scoot your pliers round, just round that corner that you've just made, and bend the wire back over the top of the pliers. So it goes all the way around. And before you continue the wrap, so you should have a little loop. Before we go any further, we're going to thread this loose end onto the end of the extension chain. Pop that on, and then we can finish the wrap. I like to use the bent nose pliers to hold the top of that wrap, and then I can just finish that wrap off nicely. Use the wire cutters to snip off the loose end. Tuck the tail in with my straight nose pliers. And there, your bracelet's finished. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and if you've got any questions, do let me or Kernowcraft know. Always happy to help. Otherwise, just enjoy browsing through all of their tutorials they've got on their website, on their YouTube channel. You can also check out more of my jewellery online. So I'm on social media as Stacey Jewellery. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and catstaceyjewellery.com is my website. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, if you've got any questions, just let us know. Otherwise, thank you very much.